Well, I'm happy to have you here today. I've heard so much about the infamous steak and butter gal.
Oh,
So
wow.
have to get you on. Bella is her name, by the way, you guys. Steak and butter gal over on Instagram, and you've
Yep.
got quite the following there. 17,000 followers. 14 plus thousand followers on the SB Gang over on YouTube.
Yep.
Lots of exciting videos. I watched a few of your videos. I'm like, she is so charming on video. I
Oh,
try to
thank
be,
you.
but you do what you can with what you got. It helps. You're very beautiful, so that is in your favor. Um,
Thanks.
and you've got the SB Gang support group as well, which we'll talk about
Yeah.
within the course of here today. But welcome to the show. I'm really happy to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me, Jimmy. Really excited.
Yeah. So steak and butter gal, like where'd that come from? I mean, obviously you eat steak, you eat butter, you're a gal, so it does, good brand.
Yeah. It was
But
just common sense to me, and I started the Instagram page mostly just to document my meat meals because I went carnivore after being vegan. So I just wanted to, document on Instagram or a private profile for myself. Right, that's all of my photos. I used to just post my hot pot meals with my mom in China, but it slowly just became, things about my progress. There we go. That's the hot pot. It's insane. So yummy. So I just chose the two favorite foods, steak and butter.
yeah,
Gal. Yeah.
excellent. Well, I mean, it's beautiful. And what's funny is you came on my radar screen because I saw everybody posting this infamous steak and butter gal egg pudding recipe. And
Right.
who is this steak and butter gal? Uh, I started following you. I'm like, wow, I can see the charm here. You definitely have a lot of interesting information. So back up a little bit. Like, why did you go carnivore? And would you consider yourself carnivore?
Yes, I consider myself strict carnivore. I don't really do any honey as well. I know there are carnivores who love their honey, but I don't do any sweets, any sugars, nothing, no glycine, just strict carnivore, meat, organs, fat, eggs.
Yeah, and so steak and butter gal kind of fits that bill. Did you have health issues or did you have a weight problem? What kind of got you on that journey?
Yeah, so I had a whole list of issues that I really wanted to heal. I wanted to heal from my eating disorders that I started because of bad habits throughout the vegan diet. I did a lot of binging and then I did a lot of starving, and that was because of vanity reasons. I perform all the time as a musician, and being on stage, you have all this pressure. Yeah, piano. You want to look good and stuff, and sometimes it can take a toll on your body image. So my weight, I wanted to stabilize it, but mostly I wanted to heal my eating disorder. And my skin was breaking out like crazy, hormonal cystic acne. My hair was shedding. And my eczema and my psoriasis was just not getting better with this amazing vegan diet that everybody was praising about. But after
Right.
6 years, I was just done. I was fed up.
And so culturally, it probably was a shock to go from maybe like a higher carb type of diet to suddenly no carbs and all
Mhm.
meat. Like, did you get any pushback from family or friends that are like, what are you doing?
Of course. Honestly, I kept it secret the few first weeks because I kind of made being vegan my identity. And that's
Yeah.
also something I'm kind of embarrassed about because the more that I made that my identity, the more I had to explain myself when people
Yeah.
started seeing me eating so much meat. But that's just my thing, I just like to be proud of everything I do. But yeah, my friends, my family, they were just shocked. Yeah.
About what the most shock was. Was it just the fact that you can't live on just steak and butter and eggs and organ meat? You can't just live on that. Where's the
Yeah.
vegetable, the fiber, all the
Absolutely.
questions?
Right. a lot of how the hell do you poop questions, and right. And are you going to get scurvy? And where's the vitamin C coming from? Just all of the same old questions. But my mom, honestly, she was quite happy for my transition to eating meat again, because my mom is a huge fan of incorporating animal foods in the diet for youth, for health, for well-being. She fed me so much milk, so much meats when I was growing up. So I do credit her for feeding me all those foods.
Right.
Otherwise, I really don't think I would be this tall.
So what made you go over to a vegetarian vegan diet for a period of time, and what age were you when you started that?
Oh, yeah. So I was 18, senior year of high school. Just a very confused time of my life. I wanted to, again, for vanity reasons, lose a lot of weight, be super skinny, feel pretty. And I was going off to college, and YouTube was just seriously raving about Freely the Banana Girl. And I think she was really huge at that time, and I just happened to catch on to her videos.
Yeah, I interviewed Harley Johnstone, a Syrian writer who was her boyfriend there for a little while. He's the 30 bananas a day guy.
Yeah.
He's been on my show before. A very interesting guy, very nice guy actually, but just
Okay.
eccentric in their beliefs and very in your face with it, almost like, well, if you don't do this, you're stupid kind of thing. And so I could see an impressionable
Yeah.
18-year-old going, yeah, I'm gonna try that.
Yeah, right. It was just easy for me to jump on board because all I was caring about is weight loss. And I saw her body and I was like, I want that.
Yeah, she's very beautiful, so she definitely did that. But
Yeah.
and that's kind of the problem in the online world is we see personalities, and you're one now. People know you as the steak and butter gal,
Mhm.
and they'll see somebody like you. And I've seen you the other day. You posted this really nice, really skinny picture of yourself and
Okay.
that kind of thing.
Right.
But it's a very flattering picture that some girl may go, ooh, girl, I want to look like that. And so that kind of gets them interested. So it's a bit of marketing that happens online, unfortunately,
Yeah.
on image. Are you concerned about that? Or you're like, hey, what I'm doing is actually really healthy, whereas what Freely was promoting, maybe not so much.
Yeah, I really, really try to reach out to my audience because I know that a lot of my audience members are ladies around my age. And I try to go in depth as much as I can in my YouTube videos. That's why I always say, if you like my content on Instagram, that's just all pretty stuff on the surface. But if you really want to know about me and how long and how much I had to work at it to get to where I am, watch my YouTube videos because I share everything. I share all the good, the bad, the ugly on my YouTube channel. So it's really not rainbows and butterflies when you go carnivore. You're definitely going to go through a lot of humps. But I can definitely say confidently after 2 years, I do feel like right there, yeah, my YouTube channel, I do feel every single day is just an amazing day. But it didn't come easily. It was a huge adaptation phase in experimenting with how much fat works best for me and doing a lot of research and just eating all the organs. It's not going to come that quickly, but with commitment and patience, it'll come.
Can you talk about that a little more? Because I think sometimes when you kind of get into the nutrition world, people tend to focus on calories. Maybe they focus on macronutrients and ratios and all this kind of thing. But I think the missing element, and you hit on it there, the reason why you include things like organ meats is because of the scurvy question. Where do you get your vitamin C? Organ meats have a lot of nutrients in them. And I think what's truly the problem is not calories, not the macros, but the nutrients and people's unawareness of where they come from.
Yes. I think for carnivore, the biggest difference between carnivore and keto is that it's really not necessary to measure, to count, to track. You kind of just go with the flow, listen to your body, feed your body what it's craving. I feel like that is the best tip to staying on track with carnivore and getting there, that really good area of just feeling so good and satisfied is to just listen to yourself. If your body craves for the fat, there's no need to reach a certain amount of fat or a certain amount of protein. You just eat what you crave. And with the organs, I really do think it's an important addition to this way of eating because of the electrolytes and the minerals that you're just not getting from beef, from eggs. If you eat the organs, you're good to go. And I also see a lot of carnivores eat organ supplements. I've tried it. I feel like it works, but I definitely don't see the benefits in my skin and energy. So there is a difference.
Are you talking about the freeze-dried ones instead of
the capsules?
Yeah, the freeze-dried capsules. Yeah. There's probably more bioavailability of the nutrients in the raw liver, for example. And from grass-fed animal, let's be careful when we promote organ meats. Make sure you eat quality animal, because that animal's health will determine your health.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Quality matters. Yes.
What is your go-to offal?
Oh, my go-to's raw liver, always, every other day. It's quite a big part of my diet. Yeah, you see those. Raw liver, raw heart. Honestly, I don't consider that an organ. It just tastes like muscle meat. And raw kidney.
So the raw is the bioavailability of the vitamins. Is that why you do it raw?
I do think it's just more bioavailable when you eat it raw. When you cook it, you do kill some of those amazing nutrients. But if you must for the taste, just lightly sear is best.
Yeah. Cook in a little bit of butter.
Yeah. With a salt, pepper.
The heart and butter gal.
Right.
So is it beef heart that you like, or is it all kinds?
I've only ever tried beef heart. Now with the liver, I've tried veal liver, beef liver, lamb liver too. I've tried lamb liver.
It's not that bad.
It's pretty bad.
Yeah, Porky, I'm the king of dad jokes. So, well, awesome. Like, now you've built this community. You've got all of the people that watch your videos over on YouTube. Talk about this SB Games support group, because a lot of people, they kind of get into a plan and they're like, okay, eat meat. Got it.
Yeah.
What? And then they're like, I need some hand holding. So is that what you're doing in your support group, is giving them some of that hand holding?
Sure. Maybe not hand holding. I don't tell them what to do. I don't instruct them to do anything. It's more, keeping each other accountable, posting amazing meal photos as inspiration. It's like a source of inspiration. If anybody wants to renew their commitment or renew their passion for this way of living, they can just open that group and see the amazing positivity, knowledge, transformation stories, progress pics. It's all there in one place. And I wanted it to be off social media. People were telling me, do a Facebook group, but I just was not attracted to that idea because I just didn't want it to be on social media. There's too many distractions already. So it's really a separate platform altogether, which I think a lot of people are loving already. So I'm glad I made that decision, because I was this close to making a Facebook group.
Yeah, and then when you create a Facebook group, even if it's private and you have to be invited and all this kind of stuff, it's still problematic. Yeah. If you get like a vegan on there that starts like everything, or if you bring in voices that tell other people. I've had this happen to me with the keto.
Right.
I'll start a group and then somebody will come on and say something that I don't agree with at all, and yet it's confusing people. Confusion is the worst thing. Yeah.
I think so. Confusion, which leads to disagreements, which leads to fights, and it's just not good. Not good. Yeah.
The butting of the heads, and I'm so over it in the nutritional health world. I've been out here for over 15 years talking about diets and keto and paleo and now carnivore. I've kind of been in the midst of all of it, and literally the demise of most good platforms is they allow that kind of friction to come in. And they don't get it. And so good for you creating your own platform. What's the website for the support group?
So it's SBG's Meetup, but there are dashes in between each word. So I'll send you the exact link so people can just click on it.
Or go, guys, to her.
Oh, yes.
She's got a link tree there that's got all the links to everything that's involved, and it'll take you right to the page.
Exactly. It's all in the link tree.
So let's talk about this egg pudding. Was that an accident, or you were like, let me kind of come know it was going to be as big as it became?
Yeah, I had absolutely no idea it was going to blow up and break the carnivore internet. But it's actually another gift from my mom. She cooked it for me ever since I was a baby. And it's actually a very traditional, common Chinese dish. In Chinese, it's called Zhungchitan, which translates directly to steamed chicken egg. So I just added the egg pudding because I think it sounds cute. But it's basically just a water egg mixture that you steam, which beautifully turns into a pudding.
Yeah, so I was pulling up the YouTube video because you have my mama's recipe.
Yeah.
Egg pudding recipe. There's an ad playing, so I'm letting it play out while I'm letting it play out. And so nothing but eggs and water.
Mm-hmm. There we go. Always have to do a taste test.
My childhood, so freaking good.
So freaking good. Yeah, and I've seen other people replicate it, and you love that. Like then they tag you, and then you're like, hey, try my egg pudding. Please tag me and show me how you like it. So freaking good. So good. Awesome.
And everybody adds their own twist to it. I have seen like a million different types of way of making egg pudding now. So it always excites me seeing everybody's tags.
What's your favorite twist? Is it like an ingredient they added to it? Was it just the way they did it?
Yeah, I mean, Kelly Hogan started this egg pie trend because she put it in her pie tin. Yeah, she mixed it up, and then it just blew up again. So I have to thank Kelly Hogan for doing the egg pudding pie. But she adds heavy whipping cream to hers. So that sounds really delicious.
And she's a long time zero carb carnivore.
Oh, yes.
I remember when I first started, like she came on the scene, that was many years ago, like the next year after me, and was talking about, I went zero carb and just eat meat, and I lost weight and cured my PCOS and had babies and lots of babies and more babies. And it was so inspiring. I love her to death, and her show is incredible. So have you been on her show?
Yeah, just a few days ago we did the premiere, and it was amazing. Everybody was so happy to live chat with us. It was the best time ever. Oh, and we played a piano duet. It was amazing.
Oh, wow.
You have to watch it.
That was called the softball question because I knew you were on her show. I'm a big fan of her.
Yeah.
So let's talk about some of the issues in the carnivore world.
Okay.
And you mentioned one earlier with the honey. Like, why is there such dispute over things like that? To me, that's like that's the outskirts of what we should be worried about. Do you think that kind of waters down the message a bit when you see these kind of like bickering back and forth over things that really don't matter?
Yeah, I kind of just tend to avoid that type of noise. But there was one day where I asked everyone on Instagram in my stories. I love to do polls because I want to hear what my friends on Instagram think, So I did a poll where I asked, do you incorporate honey? And it was honestly like 10% who voted, who said they incorporated honey. And then I asked a question, why or why don't you incorporate honey? And honestly, 90% of the answers were, if I were to incorporate honey, I would fall down a slippery slope and start eating all of the sugary junk. It is just not a good trigger. It's a trigger, and I don't want it in my life.
And that's one of the things that carnivore kind of squelches down is if you had those tendencies to overeat, like even crappy sugars, even though honey is a natural sugar, it still stokes that same like brain pathway that tells your body, ooh, I want more.
Yeah, exactly. Anything sweet tasting is dangerous.
Yeah, I remember it was about 12 years ago. I did a sweet-free challenge where I challenged people to give up everything that tasted sweet, so fruit or honey or anything, even the so-called low-carb ones. And it was fascinating because then when you go back to eating like those things again, they're like overwhelmingly sweet. But even like in the midst of it, I found that like almonds were sweet. I never realized almonds were sweet.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, especially when you go carnivore, I don't know how you reintroduce sweet without it blowing your head off.
Exactly. It's like a taste that the body doesn't recognize anymore. So once it's back, it kind of just ruins everything. So, but I do believe there are foods in the carnivore diet that start to naturally taste sweet. For example, liver. Some of the freshest raw liver tastes delicious and truly sweet. Sometimes I find raw yolk to taste sweet. So you find sweetness in other ways.
Isn't that funny how it's masked by the overstimulation, I suppose, of our taste buds with sweet in the American palate? And then when you remove foods that are traditionally oversweetened, it lets you taste the natural sweetness in foods. It's kind of a cool side effect.
Right, exactly. It's awesome.
So where do you think the carnivore movement is headed? I mean, obviously it's having a bit of a time in the spotlight right now. And one who's promoting it is kind of getting a bump in their following. Like I said, you have 17,000 followers on Instagram now and growing. Do you see it continuing on as a sustainable thing kind of in the public eye, or what would be the barriers to that happening?
I think it all matters in how the people feel and the results they see. People stick to this diet because of the amazing benefits. So the more people who try it, just being curious and skeptical, once they see the results, once they feel superhuman and amazing, and once they feel that their brain fog is gone, they're going to want to stick to this diet and in return, they're going to want to promote this diet. So I strongly believe that the carnivore diet is not going away. It's going to keep growing. And I'm here to keep supporting everyone and keep promoting it. So
obviously in your SB Gang support system that you have set up, you're going to have a lot of newbies who come in and go, here are my concerns. What are some of those major things that get brought up?
So how much fat should I eat? How much protein should I eat? I see that a lot. My answer is always listen to your body. It's going to change from day to day. Listen to your cravings, feed your body what it wants. It really is not that important to track. It's not like keto where you have to really track the macros. But I also have a lot of ketovores who join, who are curious about this all-in carnivore way. So they join to learn, to read, just to watch what's going on. But most of the people who are very involved, they're passionate carnivores and they're very experienced, and they're just trying to share how their life has been changed and their progress and stuff. But I do see a lot of keto people, ketovores who are just very curious as well.
Yeah. So what's missing in the carnivore community? If this was present, it would be so much better. What's missing?
More music. More music making.
We can get our resident piano player, Bella.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I'll do more.
Yes. Can't we
but
all?
Honestly, more humor. It's not so serious. It's not like this huge thing. Just laugh about it. Have a great time. Connect. Move on.
You know what? I'd love to see like a steak and butter sandwich, and then you're just
like, okay.
That would be hilarious.
Sure.
And then like have the
I
butter
would love to.
dripping down your
yeah. Legendary. Okay, I'll keep that in mind.
And then do it like in slow motion. And then
yes. Okay.
Yeah, I'm visioning this way too much, Bella.
Love it. I love it.
Hey, let's shift over to the vegan meat products that are out there. Beyond Meat and Impossible Burger and all these fake little chicken nugget thingies made from soy and God knows what else. They seem to be getting a lot of attention. And my opinion is the market is not accepting them. They don't like these things. But because there are very powerful, like millionaire, billionaire investors propping them up, it's making them look like they're more popular than they really are. Do you think people are actually buying into this trend?
No, because when the COVID was at its worst and I went to the grocery store, all of the real meats were gone and the fake stuff was still in stock. So when people are in need of nutrition and good food, they will reach for the meat. It's always so fully stocked every time I go to the grocery store. I always check out the vegan stuff. Nobody buys that stuff except for the crazy vegans. And I don't want to bad talk the vegans. Everybody has their own reasons for trying whatever diets they're eating. And I tried the vegan diet myself, and I really gave a good go at it. 6 whole years of whole foods, plant-based. I did not eat those processed things, by the way, at all. I reached for the real stuff. So I think everybody should have the logic of looking at the ingredients. First look at the ingredients. If you can't pronounce half of the names in the ingredients list, why would you eat it when you can have beef where it's just one ingredient and it's beef?
Yeah, when I looked at the Beyond Meat burgers, which I was a guinea pig, I do a show here called Jimmy Rants, and I on camera on Jimmy Rants decided to try the Beyond Meat burger last year, or maybe a year and a half ago, and it was putrid smelling coming out in the raw, because it literally had like all of like beet juice to kind of do the fake blood. And there was like a lot of seed oils in there and all kind of just stuff and filler stuff to make it give the appearance of meat. And in my opinion, it's like, if you're so vehement against meat, why do you want anything that even resembles meat? It just seems odd to me. Although in the keto world, we do the same thing. We draw you in with all these sweet treats that are sugar-free, to try to get you to buy into keto, and then you come into keto, and eat those things anymore. Maybe that's their plan. Let's use this as a soft way to get people into veganism.
Absolutely, I'm sure that's their advertising attraction. But why is it that once you do enter the vegan world and you do start eating the correct way, the best way, which is whole foods plant-based, you still are missing so many crucial nutrients and vitamins, It's still not the ideal human way of eating.
Yeah, we have a vitamin B12 deficiency diet. That's no bueno.
Yeah, and I lost my period, so I completely lost so much iron that my body needed to keep my period. So I
have interviewed so many people that went on the vegan diet, and girls, and they're all like, I didn't menstruate, I couldn't have a baby, nothing.
Yeah.
And it's telltale sign. And the iron, the complete proteins, like that is a devalued aspect of an animal-based diet, is complete protein. Every animal-based food is complete proteins. You have to work hard getting different elements from different plants to comprise a complete protein. And even then, it's incomplete because there's certain amino acids in meat products that you can't replicate in plants.
Exactly. You just said it all. Like, that's the biggest reason why vegan is just not superior to carnivore or even just keto,
So the vegans have had one thing on their side for many years, and it's they're very well organized, they're very well funded, and they're all on the same page with their messaging. There's a few, John McDougall goes off the deep end a little bit sometimes, but for the most part, they're all on the same page, and they put out all these documentaries every couple of years, the What the Health, and all these things. The carnivore, keto, paleo, real food, Whole30, all these guys could easily coalesce behind central messages and be just as unified and blow them out the water. But we don't. We stay kind of fractionated, and this
I know.
And the honey carnivores over here, and and occasionally I'll have, every once in a while I'll cheat on keto over here, and I mean, it's just something that we could be a much more powerful voice, coalesced behind each other rather than fighting each other when we're basically on the same team.
Yeah, I absolutely love that message. It's actually so true when you word it like that. Like, even within the carnivore community, there are the raw carnivores who really love to bash on us people who cook our meats, But come on, we're trying to promote the same message here is to just eat more meat and not go vegan. But yeah, I do agree with the vegan community. They're so closely tied, and they have this way of plucking at your heartstrings with their PETA movement, making it seem like people who eat meat are horrible people. So they have their tactics that definitely work.
You're going to eat Bambi? Look at the Bambi's eyes.
Yeah.
Don't eat Bambi.
Yeah. I know. Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah, and they pulled that tactic, by the way, for at least the last 15 years that I've been around. I've seen them pull that. They do some weird stuff, and PETA is so horrible. And then they have a physicians committee called Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine. It sounds so beautiful. Well, PCRM, it's just kind of a front group for pushing veganism, and we kind of need a carnivore version of that. And I know Dr. Sean Baker and Dr. Paul Saladino have certainly done their part to try to coalesce in their specific areas, trying to get the science. I know Sean is doing a lot of actual research looking at the carnivore diet and trying to making it more out there, but it's a long road to make that more mainstream.
Yeah, it really is a long road, and I think we need more funding. So hopefully people donate to Sean Baker's research. He's like doing a GoFundMe for his research. So that would help a lot to just have research out there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, what's happening for you? Like you have this support group. Do you have aspirations to, I don't know, write a book someday or do anything like that? Or are you kind of very comfortable with what you're doing?
Honestly, I'm just going with the flow. I feel like I work best with just being spontaneous and being inspired by those around me, by what's going on around me. So I don't really have long-term plans. Honestly, this year changed everything because I was planning to pursue music professionally, and I still have hopes of doing that. You know, I graduated with a master's degree and I was planning to go to London to study more in violin, but that changed and I had to quit those plans because of COVID. So instead, I stayed at home and I kind of had this calling where I just wanted to share more about my carnivore story online. So I started my YouTube channel during this whole pandemic. And that really just took over my life, and I was just so passionate about it. So I see a lot of opportunities in what I would love to put my energy into. But again, I'm just going with the flow.
I am a big believer in things happening for a reason. And your influence, Ella, that but for COVID, you would not be influencing right now. And look at those people you're changing. And I hear from them every day. They read my book, Keto Clarity, and they're like, oh my gosh, that changed my life.
Nice.
You embrace the spontaneity, as you're calling it, as opportunities to reach people, and you're definitely doing that with your work.
Oh yeah, thank you. I just love what I do. I don't consider this work at all, so.
Well, it's definitely a fun hobby. And Steak and Butter Gal, guys, over at Instagram, go check her out. That is Bella, and go check out her YouTube channel and her SB Gang support group. Definitely make her egg pudding and post it on social media. Do your own little twist and see, and tag her in it so that she can see. I love the people who mess up and yet they still promote it and put it out there. I tried. It didn't work.
I love that. I love that. Yeah. So humble.
Go check it out, you guys. And Bella, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you, Jimmy. I had such a great time chatting with you. Thank you for having me.